Greetings, Dr. Emrich here, and I want to talk about a social media strategy, creating this strategy for your business on social media, and really just breaking it down into 3 easy parts and walking you through how to do this step by step. And it's actually not as hard as people think. So there's 3 steps really to a good social media marketing strategy. One is to do what's called a social media audit. And there are a lot of templates out there that are already done, and all you have to do is download one of them and fill it out and do this research for your business. And I'll show you an example. And make sure that you have goals, very specific goals for your business, and that you know what tactics and tools that you're going to use. And this is really the start and the highlights of a very good future in social media for a business. So let's start with that audit. And I do have one template right here. And what you're doing with the social media audit really is you are collecting anywhere your business is currently present on social media. It doesn't necessarily have to be a social media website or platform. It can also be your own personal website. Maybe you have a newsletter out there. Any presence that you have on social media at all is very important to put in this audit process. And you want to list all the places that your business is present on social media. And you also want to collect, okay, how many followers do I have on each one of these platforms? How much engagement do I have from these followers? So are they sharing your posts? Are they liking them? Are they commenting to them? What kinds of content am I posting? Just to take a summary, what kinds of things am I looking for? Am I posting pictures? Am I posting videos, information? Am I posting things about my business? And then think about, okay, why am I using each one of these platforms on social media? So it's like an inventory of a business's current presence on social media. And then you also, in this audit process, want to do the same thing with your competitors. You want to find your competitors and see what their presence is on social media as well. So you want to list your competitors, what social media platforms they're on. You want to take a look at the followers they have. You want to list the kind of content they have and the kind of services that they're providing on their social media. So you do an audit of yourself, an audit of your competitors as well. And a lot of this can be done, right through a Google search or right through those search boxes on each social media platform. And you also, when you're doing these Google searches, you want to take a list of when you Google your industry or when you Google your service, what are the top businesses organically? So that means the top businesses that aren't currently paying to be at the top of Google. You want to take an inventory of all of those businesses as well. So when your customers go searching for you, you want to find out who they're following, and you want to keep a good track of that. And you want to know what they're selling, where they're selling it, their location, and anything you can collect about those businesses, your competitors as well. And as you're going through this process, you're going to start coming across keywords. So keywords are the things that customers are typing in a search engine in order to find your business. And so you are going to come along a lot of these keywords when you're doing this audit. And so during that audit process, just make a list of anything that you come across when you do auditing. And these keywords that come up. And so this is an audit process, filling in this information. It's really just an inventory about your current business, about your competitors, and about your competitors' presence on Google and on social media. That's the first thing you do with a social media strategy. The next thing that you're going to want to do is decide, okay, well, why do I want to be on social media? And it's really important to step back and to do this, to identify the exact reasons and very specific reasons you want to be on each social media platform. So you want to develop what are called goals and objectives for yourself on social media. You need both, and here's why. There's a difference between goals and objectives, where an objective is more of a high-level thing of what you want to do on social media. So it might be brand awareness. That is an objective. You might do a brand conversion. So you want more people to get on your website and website traffic. You want to have a good customer experience. So those are all objectives that you might have for using social media. But with those objectives, the next thing you want to do is create very specific goals for yourself. And this is the how and when you're going to make those things happen, those objectives happen on social media. How are you going to make those brand conversions? How are you going to make your brand more visible on social media? You want to very specifically state these in goal statements. And the best way to write a goal statement for social media, for life, for any reason, is to use the SMART goal. tactic, and I have the chart right here. And SMART is that acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So you want to take that objective, say it's say it's brand awareness. You want to make that very specific. So what specifically are you trying to make aware about your brand? Maybe it's a particular quality, maybe it's the price. What specific thing are you trying to make present and people aware of on social media? And what are you trying to measure then? Are you trying to measure how many people are sharing your posts, how many followers you have? You want to specifically state that in these social media goals. Making sure it's attainable, so you don't want to say, oh, I want to have 10,000 people share this post. You want to make sure it's attainable, and you want to make sure it's relevant to your industry. So this might take a little bit of research before you set these goals to make sure that you are coming up with relevant and attainable goals. And then you want to make sure it's time bound. So you don't want to just say you're going to do something. You want to say you're going to do it by the end of the month or by the end of the year. So you want to go through each one of your social media objectives, and you want to make them SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. And you can start with just one objective and one goal to go along with it. You might have a different objective for each social media platform that you want to be on, and that's perfectly fine. In fact, that's what a lot of people strive to do, is to look at a social media platform and decide, okay, I want to use Facebook. I want to use Facebook for brand awareness, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to generate content that so many people are following or sharing. I want to get new visitors to my website in a certain period of time, and I'm going to use Facebook to do that. So it's very important to set these goals and objectives, and then to decide, okay, so to achieve these goals and objectives, what social media platform do I want to be on? And that's that third step. So you did your audit, you set your goals and objectives, and then the third thing is to decide on what your tools and tactics are to come up with and to be successful with the goals and objectives that you came up with. So in order to find out what platforms you want to be on, you have to know about the demographics and do some research on each social media platform to decide where your customers are. And it's really easy to do that these days because there's a lot of data out there, and I read a lot about this kind of thing. So I tend to summarize the data that I find about different social media platforms. So if you go to drkemrich.com and you go under my social media resources, I actually created a link to social media data. So if you're not sure what social media platform to be on for your particular business, I have a lot of key data right here. All 4 of these links are going to tell you specifically about each social media platform, and I'll just click on them so that you can see and why each platform is utilized and how it can be utilized for a specific business. So it gives you demographics, like here's the Twitter audience. You can see that 43% of the people on Twitter are between the ages of 25 and 34. It gives you how many male followers are, and it goes through Facebook. It does the same thing. It even maybe talks about what time of day they're on these platforms, when they're posting, what content they're sharing. Very detailed data about each platform that can help you decide what platform you want to be in for your business. The next one is a usage chart, which is a great summary of all the high-level demographics that are listed right here: income levels, education levels, urban, suburban, and what social media platform these different brackets are using. So that's just a handy chart as well if you're evaluating what social media platforms you want to be on. And then a lot of people ask, well, you want to make sure you're posting at the right time of day when you decide what you're going to post on social media. So they've even, Sprout Social, this great informative website, has even broken down Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and gathered the data about when particular age groups, particular demographics are actually on each social media platform. So you can use this information to decide when to post content on each different social media platform, because it is different. You can't just go and post the same time of day on Facebook that you would post maybe on LinkedIn or Twitter, because the data might be a little bit different. So that's how you come up with the tools, and tools are the platforms that you want to use. And the last thing then is decide what kind of tactics you want to use on those social media platforms. Now, content and deciding how to come up with content on each social media platform is a whole different topic, and one that we will talk about in a lot of detail in the future. But as you get started, the first thing you want to think about in your strategy is if you want to pay for tactics, if you want to pay for things on your social media platform, and what you want to specifically own, and what pieces of social media you might want to earn. So on each social media platform, you can pay for advertisements. You can pay to boost your advertisements. And it's actually pretty affordable, and it's very flexible to do this. But you have to have a good advertisement. You have to have a good way to promote your business. You don't want to just make a statement. You want to spend time putting an advertisement together that will be effective for a social media platform, and pay for that to get out there and show up in people's news feeds in each specific social media platform. But there is something called owned social media as well. And so you own your website, you own your profiles, but you also might own groups that you start on social media, maybe a newsletter that you start on social media, maybe it's a news article that you've written or published. So you want to make sure you do have a group of everything that you own on social media. And you go back to your audit that we talked about at the beginning, and you make sure you list everything that you own. And you always know everything that you own on social media, and that you're keeping track of it, and you're keeping a visual of it, of all the content that you're posting on all these owned parts of social media. So you can pay, there's things that you own, and then there's also something called earned social media. And this is when you get into different communities. Maybe you join different groups, maybe you join different communities, and because of that, you're earning your own followers by being an expert in your field, by sharing content that people trust. That is your earned influence on social media. And today there's a new term, and it's very important to at least bring up. They're called social media influencers. And we probably hear about these social media influencers that are out there. And it's actually important to find them in your industry and in your career field. And they're probably out there. They're out there for every industry. And so let's just talk a minute about who these social media influencers are. Right? These are those power users. They can help you find your potential customers. So by finding these power users, and you can use those social media listening tools that I've talked about. I always recommend Feedly, so it's FEEDLY.com. You can use Hootsuite. You can just go into each social media platform and do searches, and you will start to see patterns, and you will start to see these power users or social media influencers. You will start to see them pop up, and you want to follow them, and you want to study them. A lot of them are bloggers. A lot of them do product reviews, and they get paid to do product reviews, but usually you can see that they have an expertise. They might be an industry expert, a great resource, and they become these social media influencers. And so the reason they're important to find in your social media strategy is because of this statement here at the bottom. And Nielsen does a lot of great data. It's another place to go get secondary data for your social media strategy. But they've found that 33% of customers out there on social media do not trust advertisements. They trust people. Right? 90% of people put their faith in other people and not just an advertisement, a picture or words. But if somebody tells them to do it, if somebody says, hey, I use this, you should use this too, it's extremely more effective. In fact, 90% of people are putting more faith into these influencers than they are in just a typical advertisement. So that is a high level of your social media strategy. And let's just go back. Really, the most important thing, right, is to do that audit. It should take some time to do this. You're doing research on the internet, and fill out one of those templates and get to know yourself, get to know your competitors on social media, develop those objectives, those high-level ideas of things you want to accomplish on social media with the goals, those smart, specific goals of what you want to accomplish, and then decide on what tools, those social media platforms that you want to be on, and what tactics you're going to use on each platform. And then you can play around with it. Each platform has great measurement techniques, so you can see what's working and what's not working. You might start out on Twitter and say, oh, my customers aren't on Twitter, and then end up on Instagram. And that's fine, experimenting on social media like that. But you want to make sure that you're measuring what you're posting and what you're putting out there to see if your strategy is working or not. It's a constant adjustment for your business on social media. So that's what a strategy looks like, and I hope it's helpful. If you have any questions, let me know, and thanks for listening.